What's up, guys? My name is Madison Gutierrez and I'm a realtor in Arizona. Today we're going to be talking about how to prepare to get your very first home. Being a first-time homebuyer is a super exciting thing, but there's so much that goes on in the home buying process that it might be difficult for you to know what things you need to do in order to prepare to buy your first home. So in this video, we're going to go over how to get your finances ready, what no one tells you about house hunting in Arizona, and a few pro tips that will save you time, money, and hopefully a meltdown or two in the aisles of Home Depot. So hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, and let's get you home buying ready. The very first step is checking in on your financial health. We all know that there's an affordability crisis in the housing market right now, but there are things that you can do to prepare financially now to buy a home later. Before you go falling in love with a kitchen on Zillow, you need to know your numbers. The very first thing that you're going to want to check in on is your credit score. Credit plays a major role in financing and a huge role in what interest rates you can get when you are applying for a home. So if you're thinking about buying in the future, start working on your credit now. Aim for a minimum of 620, but over 700 would be a great goal. Even a 20-point difference in your credit score can save you thousands of dollars over the lifetime of your loan. The next step is considering your debt to income ratio. Your debt to income ratio is basically how much debt you have compared to how much money you make. So even if you make a lot of money, if you have student loan debt, a car payment, some credit card debt, that is going to impact your buying ability when it comes to home shopping. So over the next few months or years, try as best as you can to pay down what debts you can. Don't panic if you have student loans or other debt, but do the best that you can over the next few months or years as you're preparing financially to buy your first home to pay down the debts that you currently have and to avoid going into new debts. The next step is going to be to save for your closing costs and your down payment. Most people understand that when you buy a home, you're going to have a down payment. But what a lot of people don't account for is that you are also going to have to pay closing costs. Plan for about 3 to 5% for your down payment and about 2 to 3% of the purchase price of your home for closing costs. These are costs that go towards paying for your loan. They go towards paying title and escrow fees and other various expenses in the home buying process. The next step is something that we already touched on, but I want to go into it a little bit deeper. Don't make big financial moves. If you're about to buy a house, it's probably not the best time to be balling out on a boat or a brand new car or racking up a lot of credit card debt. These things are drastically going to impact the amount of money that you can be approved for a home. Even if it's only a couple extra $100 a month, that extra debt to income can make a big difference to what your lender is willing to approve you for. The next step is going to be getting pre-approved. Now, this isn't something that you necessarily need to do unless you're pretty much ready to start shopping for homes. But if you are wanting to start looking at homes, you should definitely speak to a lender and get pre-approved. When you're going through the pre-approval process, you can actually shop different lenders. Don't just walk into a bank. They often can't give you the best rates or offer very creative financing. But if you find a good mortgage broker, they have access to a lot of different types of loans and they can also often beat a rate. I always recommend that my clients get a pre-approval before I take them to go see homes because nothing stings more than when you fall in love with a $700,000 house, but find out later that you can only afford a $450,000 house. You gotta set your expectations right when you start. Step 3 is going to be defining your wants and your needs. This is the fun part. What do you need out of a home? And what would be the cherry on top? Going back to how we are in an affordability crisis and how it's important to set expectations, depending on the market that you are looking in, you may not be able to buy the dream house, but you should be able to find something that fits your needs and can be improved over time. I tell my clients to make 3 different lists. The first list the must-haves. How many bedrooms do you need? How many bathrooms do you need? Do you need a yard? Do you need a fence? Those are very personal, but super important. Second, the nice to haves list. This list might include a pool, stone countertops, and a nice walk-in pantry. Things that perhaps you could live without, but that would really, really make the house something special. And then the third list is the deal breaker list. These are things that no matter how good the location is, how good the price is, how beautiful the home is, you absolutely will not consider it because it has these deal breakers. Like I said, these lists are super personal to you and your needs, and they're something that you should be very clear on and share with your real estate agent so that you can find the perfect home. Step number 4 is to build a team of experts. This is especially important if you are a first-time home buyer because there is so much that goes into the home buying process that it can be very overwhelming. You want to find a good local real estate agent. Arizona people, hit me up. You need to make sure that this person is somebody that you trust with the biggest investment that you have made up to this point in your life. It's a big deal to buy a home, and if somebody is just writing you off, they're not answering your questions, they're not answering your phone calls or your text messages, it might be time to consider another agent. I recommend to all my friends and family that they interview at least 2 agents before they decide who they're going to hire and before signing any paperwork. If you want to hire an agent but you don't know where to start, head to the link in my description. I have a free how to hire a realtor handout. So go through that. It has lots of questions you can ask realtors to help you find the right one. Okay, the second professional that you need to find is a lender that you can trust. Not all lenders are created equal, and hopefully if you find a really good real estate agent, they can connect you with a lender who they've worked with many times and that they can vouch for personally. If not, you are always welcome to shop around, call, talk to a bunch of different lenders. You can get multiple different pre-approvals, shop around for that best rate. Make sure that the person you're talking to is somebody that you feel like you can trust and who's going to hold your hand through the process. Step 5 is going to be getting your house hunting strategy together. This is something you can go over with your realtor, but here are a few tips that I like to give to my clients. First is tour smarter, not harder. If you're touring 10 houses in a single day, they are all going to start to blur together and you're going to have a hard time differentiating. It's also exhausting. I really don't like to tour more than 8 or 9 houses in a single day, and that's our absolute max. Because by the end of those 8 or 9 houses, it just becomes like everything bleeds together. Okay, they all have bedrooms, they all have a kitchen. What was special about this one? What was this neighborhood? You just forget. Look beyond the pretty staging. If you can avoid putting an offer on a house because you pick up on things that are deal breakers for you before the inspection, that saved you a lot of time and money. So when you're touring houses, make sure that you're looking beyond the beautiful finishes and the fancy layout to look for things that may be a deal breaker maintenance-wise. Next, you want to make sure that you're talking with your real estate agent about what the state of the market is at the time that you're shopping. The housing market shifts. So there are going to be times when buyers have a little bit more to choose from, a little bit more leverage, and there are also going to be times when buyers have less to choose from and need to be a little bit more aggressive in the house shopping process. Make sure that you've spoken with your real estate agent and that they've explained to you what the state of the market looks like so that you can be prepared on how to structure your offer when the time comes. So you found the home. Now it's time to prepare for the offer and beyond. Finding the home is the first half of the battle. Constructing an offer, getting it accepted, and getting across the finish line is the next half of the battle. Once you find the house that you want to buy, you'll talk with your agent and construct an offer that you feel comfortable with. Remember, you as the buyer are always in the driver's seat. Your agent should be listening to and serving you and your best interests, not the other way around. Of course, you can always ask your real estate professional for their input and advice, but it should always come back to what you feel comfortable with as the buyer. Once you've decided on a fair offer, your agent will go into the negotiation process. Once your offer is accepted, congratulations, you're officially under contract. Now your due diligence period begins. During these 10 days, you should be doing all the due diligence that you need to in order to feel comfortable purchasing the home. I always recommend that my clients get a professional inspection. After those 10 days, you'll have an appraisal. An appraiser will come and give evaluation of what the home is worth. If everything goes to plan there, then it's smooth sailing until closing day. There will be a lot of paperwork in this process, so your agent will keep you up to date on what's coming next. Buying your first home is obviously a big deal and a big financial step, but it doesn't have to be overwhelming. With the right help, the right team, it can be a very fun and exciting experience. If you're ready to start your homeownership journey, let's chat. Shoot me an email, send me a text, give me a call. I'd love to help you find where you're gonna start your next chapter here in Arizona. My contact information and the link to that How to Hire a Realtor PDF is in the description below. Don't forget to subscribe because, as always, I will be providing more homeownership and real estate tips in the future. Happy house hunting!